So the premise of this is the headline: after Star Wars Rey movie writer announces plan to open a new studio in Los Angeles, speculation grows that the Star Wars film could be scrapped. This is the Rey movie. Do you know anything about this, Nick?
I don't know the details. I heard something about it, but the thing is, I've said from the beginning when this thing was first announced, until I see on-set images of them actually filming, sets being designed, sets being built, all that stuff, I don't believe this movie's ever happening. So I I think this thing's going to be scrapped 100%. But I have not heard the latest on this.
Okay, well, let's have a look then, because again, this is what Culture wanted us to. Well, it's his suggestion. So Stephen Knight, who is supposed to be penning the script for the Rey movie starring Daisy Ridley and being directed by an activist, announced plans to launch a new studio in Los Angeles. This announcement has Star Wars fans speculating that the Rey film might be getting significantly delayed or completely scrapped altogether, which would make sense. I mean, if he's opening his own studio, I mean, that's a lot of work. I think I remember saying at the time, because Daisy Ridley kept going, oh, yeah, like the story, blah, 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 but then going, yeah, no, there's no script. Yeah, no, there's no script. And I think I remember saying at the time that I think they just asked Stephen Knight, like, can we just use your name to say that you're writing it so we can announce it? Because he didn't, I mean, he said that he's not really done anything. They've said that there's no script. And so it's not a massive stretch, to be fair, from when it was announced. So it says here, the BBC's Ben Sidwell reported that Stephen Knight, the creator of Peaky Blinders, announced plans to open a studio in Los Angeles in the US. Knight told the BBC, I'm going to open a Digbeth Lock studio here where people can go and look at what we're doing, see pictures, decks, and videos of what's happening, so people in LA can experience what we're doing at Digbeth. Or Digbeth. So the announcement comes as Knight gears up to begin production on a Peaky Blinders movie, to which he shared details of where they plan on filming. We'll be shooting at Digbeth Lock, and we found some unbelievably good locations around Birmingham and West Midlands. I'm sure you have, because it's a shithole. And so Peaky Blinders, shithole, yeah, it makes sense. No offense to anyone that lives in those areas, but they are a shithole. We'll be at the Black Country Living Museum. Again, there will be locations around the country as well. Of note, he indicated this film is, quote, the end of the first chapter of Peaky Blinders. That means it's likely his plans for more, potentially Peaky Blinders films after this one. I've heard good things about Peaky Blinders. I've never actually watched it, to be honest.
I haven't either, but yeah, I got a lot of close friends and family that are like, you got to watch that show.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard decent things. So basically, WDW Pro said he's wrapped up in opening studios. This is no small endeavor, and our understanding was he was supposed to be working with the Rey movie with Sharmina Obaid-Chinoy, the activist, with Lucasfilm, and that would be an ongoing process. It seems to us, Lorne, and again, we could be wrong here, but it seems to us that he's now going to be working on Peaky Blinders things, and that makes us wonder if either the Rey movie has been delayed such that he can work on this for years and years and come back to it later, or he's been removed and nobody knows it yet, which would not portend well for the Rey movie either. It's true, considering they've had multiple writers on it anyway. So that's where we're being led to believe that happens, that the Rey movie has experienced even more hiccups. Yeah, and just, I mean, that's basically it, really. I mean, what do you say? I mean, it's true. It could be. If someone's opening a studio, I mean, you are going to be wrapped up in that. They've said consistently that there is nothing actually finished at this point in time. There's no script ready to go. And when you've already announced it, you should have had a script ready to go to begin with, right? These people, Disney, they love to announce a movie. They work backwards, right? So they go, we need to earn some money. Our stock's falling. We'll just announce a movie. So we'll make a movie. And then they go, cool, right. Shit, we need to get a story. Right, shit. Oh, we need to get a director as well, actually. Shit, we need a writer for the script. We don't have a script. They just work backwards.
Yeah.
the first thought is we're going to make a movie. No, plums. It shouldn't be that. The first thought should always be, I've got a great story that could be a movie. But they're like, yeah, let's just make some money. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, thoughts, I guess. There you
go. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think this movie's ever happening. And the thing is, Stephen Knight, he has way more love for the Peaky Blinders stuff than he does for this Ray movie. You know, if he had to pick or choose, you know, one or the other, he's going with the Peaky Blinders stuff. I mean, he literally said they've already been scouting locations, doing all this stuff. So he's in on that project. He's moving forward with that project, and there's no way they're gonna put this thing off for years and years and come back to it later. Because this was one of KK's projects she was wanting to get underway. You know, before she left, you know, there was the rumor out there that she, by a Chris Gore over at Film Threat, talking about she was wanting to leave, you know, but wanted to leave on a win, which I don't see any wins coming her way anytime soon. And this Ray movie definitely wouldn't be one of those. So I don't know. I just don't see this movie happening. There's just not. I mean, I can see why they would go ahead and throw it out there, you know, to kind of see what the reaction was from the public, to see if they wanted to move forward with it. But just at D23, they were talking about Mando, Grogu movie, all these other projects they got going on. Not one mention about the Ray movie, and they announced that 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So, I mean, and then here you are, D23, talking about all these other projects, and it doesn't even get a mention. Not even a mention. Not even, hey guys, just so you know, we're still working on the Ray movie, you know, and move on. Nothing. So this is a failed franchise with these sequel trilogy characters. They just don't have enough draw. They don't have enough pull like the OT and the prequel trilogy characters and story arcs and lines and all that goes. So yeah, I think this is a doomed project. I don't see him sticking on as a writer for this, even if it does go through till the end. I think it's DOA.
Who likes Ray?
Exactly.
Really? I mean, that it begs
a
that
handful
question.
Of people.
Who likes Ray? No one likes Ray, really. I mean, she's obviously one of the original girl bosses, but or original Mary Sue or whatever you want to say. There's actually much more obnoxious examples of that now, aren't there? She's not as obnoxious as she could be in all sorts of ways. I quite fancy Daisy Ridley. I don't mind saying that, but no, who really cares about Ray? I mean, really cares, right? You know, like got an actual following, like Han Solo or something. People years later talk about Han Solo or something. No one's going to be doing that with Ray. No one cares about Ray. No. Or like even a cult following like Lando Calrissian or something. No one cares about Ray.
Yeah.
so right, yeah, and as for Peaky Blinders, I've watched not a fair bit. I've watched, I don't know, maybe 10 episodes or maybe 15 odd episodes, but I didn't really follow it. I'm not massively massive fan, but I've got sort of idiosyncratic reasons for not really liking Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I'm just not. Like it? Well, I'm jealous of Cillian Murphy. I'm just jealous of him and his life, but also mainly is it's one of those things, you know, when you can tell something's good, it is good, but you don't like it still. It's a weird thing to say, you know. So they're like some Irish traveller gang in England throwing their weight around. So just on the strength of that, I'm like, it's got my back up. So I don't like it. And it's set in Birmingham. Again, like as a Londoner or someone from the southeast. Again, I'm just like, like Irish gangsters in Birmingham. And it's got Cillian Murphy in, which I'm not predisposed towards. It's like, but I can tell it's good. I can tell the writing's good and it looks great. So, so I've watched a fair few episodes, but I sort of stopped at some point. But yeah, I just don't care about Ray. Who does really? I mean, really, who does?
According to Kathleen Kennedy, everyone was people were just clamoring for this. They really wanted to know what was going to happen to Ray. According to Kathleen Kennedy,
she's the best around. And what happened to her love affair with the with that chap of color? Wasn't that getting set up in the first one? And
it was getting set up, and then
they just dropped that because the Chinese market didn't want to see that.
Yeah.
don't want any of that action. Thank you very much.
They edited John Boyega out of the posters, for God's sake, for China.
They shrunk him down to like this big. But I was literally at the store, and every time I go, I'll just rummage through the toy section just to see what's there. I literally saw a brand new Han Solo and Endor gear figure, out. It's like probably the 15th different version of that figure that's come out. I never see Ray figures out there. I never see any of that stuff being sold anywhere. So yeah, to Bo's point, nobody likes Ray.
And she's not like, really, really easily hateable or anything. Right?
The actress, Daisy Ridley, the actress, is great. I literally have no issue. She has never gone after fans. She's never done any of that weird activist crazy crap. Even if she believes all of that nonsense, she doesn't ever talk about it or direct it towards people or anything like that. So as far as Daisy Ridley goes, I have zero negative things to say about her at all. But the character of Ray, man, I'll crap on Ray every day.
It's just that thing. She's got this tiny little woman's neck, and she probably weighs like 90 pounds, 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Like she's got no arms, no shoulders.
No.
Like you're not strong and scary. It's just that whole thing. I say it a fair bit, don't I, on here? But just like she's a classic example of it. It's like, I'm old and weak and haggard, right? And I could pick her up with one hand and slam her down.
Yeah,
right?
a 16-year-old boy could probably take her.
There's nothing to her. Look at her neck. I mean, it's elegant, it's beautiful, but it's like it's not. She's not a warrior. She's not a fighter, is she? She's not.
It's not like she's coming out like like Gina Carano, in her MMA days, like in great shape, and like, all right, I don't want to mess with her because she'll probably kick my ass. You look at Ray and you're just like, well, what's she gonna do?
Like an kid, you can just palm their forehead and keep them at an arm's distance. And that's it. That's the end of any sort of fight. Like.
Well, she was one of the very first sort of modern. I say one of the first. There's been others, but one of the first in this era of the modern Mary Sue sort of came out, classic. And then everything sort of followed that, didn't it? Really, it was one of the the biggest and most egregious Mary Sues of modern cinema history. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Well, there you go. Is it going to happen? Who knows? I didn't think this movie was ever going to happen anyway. So we will move on from this now.